Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Off the Beaten Path. Today, we're headed to Caledonia, Wisconsin to visit the headquarters of ULI Percussion. There's very few people in the United States creating cowbells by hand, but for Ulysses Santiago, this was a perfect way to combine his love of playing music along with the skills he learned as a steelworker. He's honed his craft over a number of years in his small garage workshop, but now his bells can be seen played by some of the most popular percussionists in Latin music. Before we get too far along into the video, I want to remind you that I'm creating new episodes in this series monthly, so please consider subscribing to my channel if you want to stay up to date on all of my latest releases. So without any further ado, let's take a look inside the headquarters of ULI Percussion. Hey Ulysses, how you doing today?
Pretty good.
Thanks for having us out here to kind of check out your shop and learn more about all you're doing within the bell world.
I'm glad you came. You're more than welcome.
Yeah. So to get started, what's your kind of background with not only playing music, but getting into crafting instruments and making them?
Well, I got into the crafting and making instruments because I'm a musician myself. And I always loved the instrument too. And I work with a lot of, in the steel company with a lot of steel and always work with my hands. So, my skill of working with steel and plus being a musician, it combines for what I do. So that's why I like doing what I do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of the same way where like as a kid, my dad was a carpenter and woodworker. So naturally at some point into my journey of playing drums, I just kind of like recognized how they were built and had more of an eye for it. And that led to me wanting to take a stab at either modifying an instrument I already had or trying to build my own. So,
well, all my family are musicians. Most of my family are musicians. My father, he passed away. He was a guitar player. So since little, I was always in music. But the building came after, I was a musician first and then I started building after that. After I did a couple instruments and the requests around, the neighbor here started asking me. So I started making more and more. And that's where I'm at now.
Yeah. And for people who don't know your background, you were telling me you were born in this area roughly, kind of the Milwaukee outskirts of it.
I was born in Waukesha. At age 5, my parents went back to Puerto Rico. And I was there from 5 until I was 19. And I've been here since, so 19 until I'm 56 now, so do the math.
I've been lucky to be exposed to a lot of great salsa music and learn a bit of it myself and participate in some groups. But, when you're down there in Puerto Rico, that is the pop music and that is like the indigenous part of the culture. So a lot of those rhythms, I always find people from that area, it's like, wow, you have such deep rhythmic complexity and understanding, but also the tones, instruments from those areas, and the way the cowbell is a part of that music.
Us, Latin musicians are real picky with that instrument and with the instruments that we play for example, salsa, like the conga player got to be in their place, the timbal player in their place, the bongo player in their place. And then the bells is not just the bells, the bongo player have a bell and the timbalero player have a bell. Those two bells gotta be in sync together. So one is a little bit off, can't make it. Just like the conguero, the bongo, and the timbal player. Everyone got the lane that they have to be in. So
that's a great point. And I was gonna say, I feel like in pop music or rock, cowbell is a part of it, but it's kind of like a novelty or a gimmick. And it's not really given the same respect or dignity as it is in salsa music, where it's like the bell is like interacting with other instruments and you have 3 or 4 percussionists all working as a team.
They got to always stay there. And even if one percussion is missing, then that means the other 2 got to work harder to make that feel, or we have that groove going, because they so strict. So they have to always fill that pocket. That's what make that music unique.
Well, we're in your shop right now,
kind
of your garage space.
Yes.
I was wondering if you could kind of show me the process of how you put these bells together and the different tools and machinery that goes into creating these.
Okay, so I work for the railroad industry, so that's my full-time job. And like I said before, I kind of use my knowledge of of my railroad experience and other jobs that I had with my hands and steel. I love steel, so I work a lot with steel. So some of my rigs is like from bumpers from a train.
Oh, okay.
So they used to like toss them and get rid of them. So in my head pops, so I could use that for an anvil. Some of the rigs that I got, I could point it out to you and show you. Because I work by myself, I try to make a assembly. I design everything so I could have a good flow, so I could get them out for the demand, because the demand now is kind of a little bit high. So that's what I did. So I start from here. This is my slip roller. It's very known in machine shops.
Yeah.
So, but I use this like to give the radius, the curve, like in the timbal bell, they'd have to have a little curve on the top. So that's what I kind of use that for. And then this is what I was talking about, the anvil. This is actually like was from a bumper from a train.
Yeah, so it's cost effective, but I also have a respect for any time you can recycle something and get added value.
Yes, I'm always like that. I'm always,
Yeah.
I see something, I'm thinking of, what I could do with
how
that.
you could repurpose it.
So then I came out with this whole design of how to bend the sheet metal to make the bells.
And are those like kind of proprietary? You kind of came up with the design and put those together specifically for this function?
Yeah, it took me a lot of time to come up, because this is what make the curve of the bell.
Sure.
So I had to make it specific so I had that right tone. So it took a lot of time. As a matter of fact, these the bottom base was actually scrapped too from the railroad.
I've seen other machinery that does a similar function of taking metal and bending it at specific and repeatable angles, but the goal is not just to get the angle right, it has to sound good. So everything has to be done with even more care and thought.
I'm a Latin musician also, and I know how picky we are in this instrument. So that's what's good by me making it this instrument. I know that curve got to be just right, and that sound got to be just right. So it's not just making a bell and it looks like a bell. No, this is an instrument. So they end up being like something like this. And this is the overlap bell called the cha-cha bell. See, one is inside, the other one's overlap.
Okay.
So I had to make this smaller so I'd be able to get in. And these are bells already, welded and shaped, but they still got to be clean. I still got to clean them out.
Yeah.
This is like a mid-high pitch. I kind of mark them on the side a little bit there. That's for customers that, like to collect them, because not just musicians get the bells. People get them to collect them too. So they'd be able to tell me what model they have, or I could be able to call, when they call me, I'd be able to say, well, look on the side of the bell, and they tell you what pitches, and I could tell you the next one.
When you're doing things handmade, consistency is a real challenge. So that's cool that you have thought about that and taken measures to try to fight that.
I'm where I'm at because I try to please all the musicians. So I listen also. I'm not stubborn, because you still got to get inputs from the outsider. Not all inputs are good, but you use the ones that could help you, and to improve to get it to the level where it needs to be of quality. So that's where they at. So I believe I got it down packed.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I got like a routine. I go in a nice flow because I work by myself. The time I start from there, I'm over here now, this step. Then I go to the next step. After I clean them, I go to the powder coat process, which that's another thing that I did with the bells, took it to that different level. So I use different colors, and I use the powder coat because it's a little bit harder than just spray paint.
Yeah, and I want to shout out that you are powder coating these, because it's like powder coating is a pretty niche art form, and like if you were to take it to a shop to get your bells powder coated, it would probably drive the cost up.
When I started, I made the bells, but that was one thing that I wanted. My next step, I wanted my bells to look good, but I didn't have the equipment, so I had to send it out to get powder coat. And yeah, you're right, it cost some money sending it out. So I did my homework, I did all the research, and
you invested in the equipment.
Yeah, I brought the equipment, and so I got all the equipment now, and I learned how to powder coat. So I do everything in house now, so I don't have to outsource.
And that's cool because when you look at some of these, mainstream companies selling percussion instruments, it's like they come in their natural steel color or they come in black.
Yeah, I'm one of the first ones that came out with that concept of different colors. Because like you said, I used to use black or the natural steel.
Yeah.
That was always the color of the bells. But, I wanted to take it to a different level. So I used the different colors, which pop out a little bit more.
So from start to finish, from taking, stock sheet metal, folding it, welding it, cleaning it up, and then powder coating, what is the kind of time that goes into creating a single bell?
Well, it's a lot. But now, like I said before, I kind of got it in a flow because I work by myself, and that's the main thing to do. Instead of jumping here, jumping there, I kind of got everything like an assembly.
Yeah.
So I'd be able to get them out a little bit faster. But all the process, like cutting and welding and grinding and all that, I would say it's probably like 50 minutes to an hour a bell.
Okay.
Obviously, if I make more in a row, like if I do 15 of the same model,
Yeah.
it goes a little bit faster, I do 15. But if I do one, taking my time, probably like 50 minutes. So any handheld bongo bell is basically the same as a drummer bell. So it's different pitch. You got high all the way to low. So I kind of make these brackets. So if you picture this on the bell, this got to be separate made so I could weld it on the bell. So I make this, and that's why I got a different section for that. When I assemble this, I make it separately. I got 3 drill press because that's what make my life easier, and I could get it out faster because I work by myself. So I do like 1, 2, 3 stage, and it's done to when I have to make that hole for the bell. It's 2 different holes, one where the rods go and one where the bolt goes.
Yeah, the bolt to secure it.
So these are different size. So I can make these 2 different size, the setup that I got there. I don't have to be changing the drill bed and all that.
Getting
so
everything just
time.
Calibrated right.
Yeah. When I started, this wasn't fixed up how it is, and I only had like 110 here, and I couldn't use a good welder. So I got my separate service for the garage, so now I could use better equipment and all that. So that's why I'm using what I use, and that's why the bells are on a different level. As I get the money when I sell the bells, I'm always reinvesting again. So I don't get too much profit, but I keep on investing. Eventually, all the investing gonna be there, and then I get the profit. So I'm almost there.
All right. So, well, let's see some of these bells.
Okay. Well, this is my little display room. These are the cha-cha bells. We got like cha-cha 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
But the most seller was like 1 and 2. So if you see cha-cha 1 is like. You got cha-cha 2. Cha-cha number 3. But these don't got the mufflers. But these are important too, to have these. They kind of like get the overtone out, so you got to be balanced with that. So you hear the different now. So you hear the different with that. You got the whole natural steel just vibrating all over. So like I talked before, like we got the timbal bells. This is like a timbal bell. These bells looks like a drummer bell, but it's actually for the timbalero, Latin percussion timbal. And these bells, you don't play like a drummer here. It's not made for that. It's a thinner gauge. These bells are made so you can hit it on the top, in the center. And that's what go combined with the bongo bell. So this is a timbal bell. I have like F1. F1 means that the top is flat.
Okay.
Then I got C1. C1 is just, all it means is it got a little curve.
Yeah.
And that curve make it a little bit warm. So
okay.
And it let the stick rest a little bit more. That's why it's warm, because of the curve.
Yeah.
If it's flat, well, it's gonna have more of that teeny canny sound. So
okay. Yeah,
so
yeah.
if you hear the difference.
It's a big difference.
And then I have a ULI Mambo 1. It's a little bit bigger body. So you see the tone start working itself down. The Dom Perignon signature bell, which is the F3 model. He's real known for the salsa industry. So you look at Dom Perignon, la Puertorriqueña, he's real known in the Latin community for salsa. Okay. So this is one of his models. It's a little bit old school and more canny, but that's what's unique about this bell. And this is like the Tito Rodriguez Jr., which his father was real known in the singing and playing too. So this is model bell. So he got a unique sound. It's kind of designed how he wanted it. So
yeah.
And the same thing with Dom Perignon bell, is designed the sound that he wanted with his bell. That's why I say, like, when you're in this profession and you want to match that band or that artist, well, you will hear Dom Perignon bell with the mid-pitch bell handheld. So to accomplish that sound that it sound like. So you'll see some musicians that have 2 or 3 bells. It's like, why you need 2 or 3 bells? Well, depends the song. You know, some songs are higher pitch and some songs are the lower. And so if you nail it just like it, you will sound, you know, close to the original band. Narrow down to other models that I got. I got like 17 or different models. I could make more, but I got my limits.
I think that's plenty of options.
So then on the bongo bell, the handheld bells, I have from high pitch all the way to low. And then I have another model that I'll be showing you. This is the green diamond, and this one is the bembe. Bembe in Spanish is like when you go to get a gathering, you know, you want to play and jam. So they call, let's do a bembe. So that's why I named the bell bembe, because it's smaller, it's compact. You could take it to a bembe, you know.
Sure.
Or they use it too to hockey games and, you know, to performing, like you want to be heard. Weddings, not weddings, graduations. You hear some people take them and play them there. I made it small, but with a big sound, which I'll be showing you in a minute. This is a high pitch bell, handheld bell. Like I said before too, these bells could be mountable too, like for drummer bells. As you see, the mouth of the bell is kind of like a little bit tight, right? Yeah. This bell is a high pitch. As it goes down, like this one, the mouth start changing, then come down to a low pitch. So high to low. Okay. So that's why you see the mouth start changing. So, you know, again, that's what's nice that we're doing this. Now you understand when you see somebody playing a bell, it's like, that gotta be a high pitch. Oh, that's a low pitch. It sounds like it's flat. So this is the high pitch. Then we go to the mid-high. See the tone starting going down. Yeah, dipped a bit. Then we have the mid-pitch. Now we go to a low. So if you hear the difference from the high to the low, like. So you have to work its way down. And I make them by the key so I could show you. So it's a high pitch. Yeah, it's right there for a handheld. So I kind of study until I was able to get that. And that's, again, what we talked in the garage, is the bend, how you do it and how you make that tighter.
Yeah, everything plays a part.
And it took a lot of time to get it where I need to. Then I got the famous green diamond. We call it green diamond because it's green. It's a little bit different shape on the top. Like this is a 3 1/4, and this is probably like 2 1/4.
Oh, okay.
Now this bell is nice for live performance. Like this one resonates a little bit more than the other ones. Okay, this is the mid-high pitch. Then I have the low pitch. You hear the difference between a green diamond, it's a low pitch, than my standard low pitch. You can hear the difference. They both low, but this one got more body, like I said, it's thinner in the back. And then the smaller bell, it's like 7 inches. And I made this bell, like I said before, smaller, it's compact for your hand. You could take it anywhere, and but with a big sound. So this is the bembe. And then I have the synthetic cowbell beaters. They last a lot longer than the regular wood sticks. So it's a different material, but it's well made for the cowbells. They give it that more crispy sound. The drummer bells, like I said before, it's the same thing as
as the
bell.
handheld.
So it's just mountable. So this would attach and they get mounted on your drums, or that's why you have that bracket. You can make any of the handhelds into a drummer bell. Usually the drummers play this one.
Yeah.
That's it for the bells. I have one with a thicker gauge to do the demonstration. Like I said, it looked like a low, but because the gauge is a little bit thicker, that's where the mouth can confuse you.
Yeah.
So it's way up there, but it gets a thicker gauge. You can imagine if I make that high pitch with that mouth, this material, it would not be a good sound. So that's why this bell, a lot of people like the high pitch. So the Model 13 only stay on one tone, which is the high pitch. Okay. So I make this model too, which is flat. Look like a low, but it's high.
Thank you so much for taking the time today to bring us into your world and show everyone just how much goes into making these instruments and how important they are in all sorts of styles and genres. If people want to reach out to you to inquire about purchasing a bell or just follow what you do, what's the best way for them to find ULI Percussion?
ULI Percussion, right now I'm on Facebook. ULI Percussion, ULI Percussion. Type that, or Ulysses Santiago. Or you can reach me at my phone number is 414-916-9454. You can send me a text or you could call me, and I can answer your calls and explain you about the bells and what it'd be good for you for a gift if you want to give a gift. Pretty soon a website will be coming out, so be related with ULI Percussion, so you'll be able to find it. And now people knows about the bells a little bit more because of you.
Yeah, thanks again. All right, we'll see you soon.
All right, sound good.